the hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro. Hate army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
What's up, Jade? How you doing? He says he's just finished eating. And he doesn't know if he'll like this or not. Well, it's horror. If you like horror, today there will not be any podcast. No podcast. Wait, what? Why will there not be a podcast? Right? I wonder why. I'm going to tell you why. Because instead of doing my podcast, I'm going to be appearing on a show. That's right. Now, this show is not live broadcast. It is not a live stream. It is an on-demand show. You ready? It is called Desert Island Graps from Cultaholic. For those who don't know, Cultaholic is a audio show about pro wrestling. And they do a bunch of shows a week. They cover all the different wrestling shows. They have an all-star cast of hosts. Like sometimes they have Matthew from Botchamania on there. And so they have invited me to be a guest on this show that's called Desert Island Graps. It's hosted by someone named Tom Campbell. He'll be the person who's going to be interviewing me. And here we go. So here's what the show is about. We're going to talk about my wrestling fandom from back in the day, because as you guys know, I don't watch pro wrestling anymore. But I was a fan of pro wrestling when I was a kid all the way into my teen years. And then I stopped watching right around the end of the new era, new generation, and right before it went to the Attitude Era. Then I stopped watching during the Attitude Era, but I came back to being a fan around the Invasion angle, and I watched it all through the 2000s and 2010s until 2020. And I literally stopped watching it cold in 2020. All right? So we're going to be talking about all that era of wrestling and what I liked about it. And basically the way that they do this on the show, I'm going to choose 3 wrestling matches that I would like to watch if I were stranded on a desert island. You know how they say if you're on a desert island, what 3 things would you take with you? What 3 video games would you play? Well, what 3 wrestling matches would I like to watch over and over if I were on a desert island? This is a tough question, because even though I haven't, actively watched wrestling recently, dude, I've seen so much wrestling. And I was thinking, I don't want to spoil. I want you to obviously listen to the show. So I'm not going to spoil, but I know for a fact some of the matches are going to be old matches from back in the day that I remember being super hype matches. So I'm going to think about that. And basically, I'm going to be interviewed during the same time that I would have done my podcast. I'm going to be interviewed by these guys, and it's going to be like a Zoom call. So I actually have to get my webcam working with my new PC, and I need to get it working with Zoom, and I have to do all this by Wednesday morning. While, by the way, I'm still operating my normal work. I'm putting up blackout curtains throughout my home. I got to figure all this out. So like I said, I've been so busy recently. Like every moment of my life is filled with doing shit that's getting me so busy. And here we go again, right? So this should be fun because it's so different than anything that I would normally do in my comfort zone. This is something that's relating to pro wrestling, something that, I watched a ton of in my lifetime. I'm curious what, Tom Campbell would like to ask me about pro wrestling, or maybe we'll just, I'm sure he knows all about the old days and we'll have a while reminiscing about it and stuff like that. So for what I'm going to understand, it's about an hour appearance, hour-ish. And so basically I'm going to appear on the show. Once they're done recording, the way it works is if you become a patron of theirs on Patreon, which is patreon.com/cultaholic, that show will go live that day. And you can watch it or listen to it, I should say, right away. I don't know if it's video, too. I know it's audio. I think it's video as well. They said basically they're going to do both because I guess people can watch it on their Patreon video, but then the audio goes on their show because I guess they're on everything. They're like on all the audio distribution networks and stuff, right? Like podcasting. So I'm not exactly sure 100%, but I'm going to be set up with everything, with camera and microphone and everything. So if you're a part of their Patreon, you could see it the day of, right? And then if you're not, then they're going to put out for free that show on Sunday the 29th on the Cultaholic podcast feed. So that's wherever their podcast can be seen or heard. You're going to be able to hear this show and watch it on, I guess, Sunday the 29th. Okay? It's a fun interview talking about old school wrestling, my 3 like favorite matches that I can remember from back in the day, and just shooting the shit. We're also going to talk about me and what I'm up to because it's a way to get exposure to a whole new crowd. This is a wrestling show. I'm playing WWE champions now. It may actually get some people to come over and watch me play WWE champions every couple of weeks or every couple of times a week that I play it. So it could be cool, right? So there you go. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Wow, I have received a $100 tip from Tetrabax, and that's all it says. I don't know who Tetrabax is. But thank you. An incredibly generous $100 tip here on the stream today. The king's coffers are filling. The king's coffers are ringing with coins. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much to Tetrabax. Then tonight on the late stream, it is the first ever WWE Champions late night Saturday stream. And the reason that this is significant is because in WWE Champions, the weekend events are always the best event, and the weekend loot is usually the best loot. Meaning, every weekend they put the new characters into the game that are brand spanking new, that are the best ones. So if you pull one of them, it's like, whoa, you hit the jackpot. And when you actually pull a brand new character, the game gives you this boost for a month and a half to 2 months where you don't have to actually charge their special moves. They could just do their special moves without any charge right away in the middle of a fight. So it's amazing because it actually makes it super duper easy to go and play with these characters, and they're already the best in the game. So it's like really, leaning towards being, very powerful if you could get one of these characters.
Single-player games where pay-to-win does still exist, as we'll see later, but isn't anywhere near as egregious as multiplayer games because vitally, you need someone else to win against. This is another important foundation point. Once you make a game multiplayer, especially competitive multiplayer, the desire to win is increased many times over, and players want every advantage they can give themselves. Playing for a long time and getting good used to be the standard. What if you could sell power to the weaker players of your game and then they would be able to defeat the stronger, more skillful players? You'd be directly appealing to the I want to win at all costs crowd, which is a very big crowd. Remember, it's essential, like last time, that you don't remove the content, but the challenge of the content. If a weaker, newer player is being beaten repeatedly by a stronger, more experienced player, then that weaker player will want to get revenge. Maybe they don't have the skill to win on skill alone, or the time needed to learn those skills, but they do have some spare money. So they buy some amazing equipment from the game and tip the odds heavily in their favor. But it's not enough just to take the weaker player's money and then say, well done, you're now better. You need to make sure that that paying weaker player gets to fight their old nemesis and gets to win, so they can see the power they've gained. Now we know, and they are on a certain level also going to know that they've won due to the money. But that's not always important. What matters most is they have won. You don't buy the victory directly. You buy the means to achieve the victory. But this doesn't mean the victory, at least for the player, is any less sweet. So psychologically, the two strongest points that pay-to-win can be exploited by are games where challenging content has repeatedly beaten the player and then you can beat the content by using your bought power, and multiplayer games where you have another human to win against. Combine these two and you are hitting that psychological sweet spot of monkey brain wants to win. The game design line now looks like this. It's an unending line, but free players will only ever progress along it slowly. Even at their most efficient. Paying here just jumps you ahead of others a certain amount. The line is endless. The finish line does not exist. All that matters is being the player that is furthest along. Knowing, at any moment, someone could overtake you, if they spend enough. The only real positive here is you know what you are getting for your money. There's no ambiguity. Yes, you could in theory spend £1 million, but you would also know exactly what you would get for that £1 million. But when you take away that guarantee, we reach level 8 of pay to win. Money in now becomes gambling to potentially gain power, but is not guaranteed. This would be your common gacha mechanics. Maybe the base game is free, maybe it's paid, but there will be a system in the game now where you can pay to potentially get more power, and the more you pay, the greater the chance. So why do I think this system is more insidious than the linear pay for guaranteed power? Well, it's because this system relies on gambling, and so it appeals to those with addictive personalities far more. It is still pay for power, yes, but the guaranteed advancement is replaced with the thrill of the gamble. Could be more, could be less. You could spend very little and gain a great deal. You could spend absolutely loads and gain nothing. You can't budget for the power gained, and this means often you end up with far more people spending far more than they intended, either due to the gambler's fallacy or the sunk cost fallacy, or just plain old addiction. And game designers know this, and they want to exploit it. At this point, the pay-to-win nature is on full show, because the game design line now looks like a mess. So many game elements will be reshuffled, repurposed, or just straight up removed and only available in paid chance boxes, loot boxes, or gacha. Buying the base game now doesn't even really get you a full game. It just gets you a foundation, a framework designed to encourage you to spend more money to flesh out the frame. From EA wanting to give us a sense of pride and accomplishment by unlocking Vader, or RuneScape making us buy treasure hunter keys to open more chests and gain gold, experience, or exclusive equipment, down to FIFA's Ultimate Team needing endless card packs open to find the best player, and then that will reset the next FIFA game, because FIFA is just Genshin Impact for people who like middle-aged millionaires. And the reason games use gacha is because it works. FIFA's Ultimate Team made more money last year than almost any other video game. Once you add gambling to your game and give potential in-game advantages for real money, with more money meaning more chances, you're firmly within pay-to-win territory.
It's WWE Champions time. I love it. I love it.
Tonight, number one, I like to explore what we can actually do in the event, the weekend event that's going to be going on in the game. That's number one. Number two, obviously, I want to see how my faction's doing, because we haven't checked it in on it since Tuesday. Number three, I want to see if we can maybe do a poll. If we hit the goal tonight, if we hit the support goal on the late stream for WWE Champions, I will do
a mega poll live
where we have a chance of getting one of the brand new awesome characters. Okay, and that changes the game, because once you get one of those awesome characters, you can do a lot of extra content. And then finally, and this is kind of the drag, we're gonna have to do some stuff that's kind of menial tasks just to kill some time, because we need to get my league up. I'm in League 7, and after talking with the support of the game is locked behind what league you're in. So I can never actually finish a monthly event because I'm stuck in a lower league, which is really stupid. But that's just how it is. You have to do like these certain tours that are low-level tours. You basically have to like rush through them. And then once you do, then you can get to higher level content. So we'll do some of that, I think. What we'll do is we'll grind through, we'll hang out and we'll talk while I'm grinding through this lower level content, and, you know, try to league up tonight if I can, and go from there. All right. So it's going to be a great stream. I hope you'll join me tonight, 6:45 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. What turtle character is my favorite so far in WWE Champions? Well, I only have the one. I have the Kofi Kingston Michelangelo, and he seems decent. He's not top tier or anything, but he seems a decent character. But I've looked at some of the builds, and it looks like the Xavier Woods Donatello looks absolutely terrible. Terrible. It looks like he's crap, but he's got a decent trainer ability, but it looks like when they use him in the game, he's crap. The other character who's Leonardo, the Seth Rollins Leonardo, looks like he'll be decent, but you don't really know, because the thing is, until you get the character, you can't really level them up and see the full extent of their abilities. So I'm not sure. He looks like he'd be good. And then the other one, which is the Rey Mysterio Raphael, isn't even out till next week, so don't even know what he's going to be yet, so I can't really say. Todd Tipperson, enjoy your ban. This person is literally trying to fish information about my personal WWE Champions account, because you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to get information so people will find out what it is and get it banned or harass it. Like, he's a moron. Like, he thinks I'm stupid, right? Like, I've already told you guys, I'll talk about WWE Champions, but I'm not going to give you any information about my real account that I play personally, because if I do, the trolls will do to it what they did with my old Down from the Rafters account. They'll harass the shit out of the people involved with that account and get it kicked out of the faction that I'm in and all that. I'm not going to have you fuck with my account. So just enjoy your permanent ban and fuck off. No one's dumb here but you. No one's going to tell you personal information about my personal accounts and shit. It's none of your business, so kiss my fucking hairy ass.
Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, 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 WWE helps me more than anything.